Welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. This podcast is a safe place for us to have weekly discussions about mental health, Christ, personal development, and the tools to live our best lives. Please stay tuned for a new episode. Hey y'all, welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green, and this is another episode. So don't forget to subscribe, share, and rate the podcast. You know, when you do this, I know that you are enjoying the content that I am giving you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the mailing list. I want to send out more emails to my listeners. And also, don't forget our new release day will be Wednesday. So new episodes come out on Wednesdays now. So let's do a trending topic. I don't really have that many trending topics because I'm trying to record in bulk this week. So I think the only trending topic that I kind of want to cover is that Jill Scott's first album came out 20 years ago. Who is Jill Scott? Volume 1 came out 20 years ago. I love Jill Scott. I feel like I loved that album, even though it was only like 8 when it came out, but my mom played it all the time. It was just a bomb album. Like, it was just consistent. It was just amazing. Like, I love that album. And if you haven't listened to it, you need to go listen to it. If you haven't listened to it lately, go turn it up on your iPhone or on Spotify, wherever, and listen to Who is Jill Scott, Volume 1. So, during last week's episode, we discussed cognitive distortions. So this might be a part 2 to that. I don't really know, but we're going to talk about how to shift your thinking or change your thinking. So the first tip is go to therapy if needed, right? You know, this podcast is supportive of therapy. So if you need to go to therapy, please go, because sometimes talking to your friends isn't always going to help. I mean, I'm not knocking friends, but sometimes you need someone who doesn't know you, doesn't know your family, don't know your friends, and who will give you a unbiased opinion and who will tell you the truth, right? And who will walk with you consistently through your journey of healing, right? And the therapist will also give you practical tips on how to use the tools that they are giving you. So if you need to go to therapy to change your thinking, please go to therapy. Number 2, make personal development a priority. That is very important. Self-care and personal development is very important, because when you start doing it consistently, things start to change. When you start consistently taking care of you, loving yourself, learning what works best for you, finding new products that you love, all of that, your thinking will start to change, right? When you start really loving yourself, your thinking will start to change. Love yourself enough to pour into you, right? Just as you're alone and being in the pandemic, certain things that I thought before, I no longer think that way, right? Number 3, be okay with changing your mind. Okay, sometimes we get so focused on, like, we have to think this way, we have to do it this way. Be okay with changing your mind. Be okay with being different. You know what I'm saying? Like, be okay with being different. Just be okay with that. Be okay with changing your mind. Like, on a day-to-day, you might change your mind. You might change your mind from Thursday, you might have thought one thing. Friday, it might be something different. Be okay with that. And people have to be okay with that change that is happening in your life as well. Number 4, identify negative thoughts. Identify the areas in your life where you have negative thoughts. All right. So, for example, what I realized in my own life is that some of my negative thoughts were related to self-esteem. Like, I don't like myself, or I don't feel pretty, or I don't feel this. I really had to get to the root of that. And the root of that was low self-esteem, and I had to really ask myself, like, well, why don't you like this part of your body? Or why don't you like your skin complexion? Having those real conversations with myself was really important. And, I just started to love on myself, like telling myself multiple times a day that I'm beautiful, telling myself multiple times a day that I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm worthy of love. That's another tip that I did not write, but start writing, positive affirmations, every day, or you could have a list of them and, rewrite them each day to get them kind of like ingrained in your brain. But yeah, sometimes I just get up in the morning, and when I'm doing my skincare routine or putting on, moisturizer, coconut oil, I say to myself my positive affirmations. Some of them I like say them all the time, but some of them just pop up like, you know what, you're beautiful. You know what, your skin is beautiful. Chocolate skin is beautiful. Just those things I say to myself really, bring me joy. Journal. Journaling is something that I love to do. I try to do it every night before bed. That's kind of been a theme, journaling before bed during this pandemic. But journal. It's good to get your thoughts out on paper, because sometimes we get so wrapped up in our head and we don't have an outlet for those thoughts. So writing for me has been very healing and therapeutic, right? I can go look at a journal that I had a few years ago and be like, wow, I was going through, but look at me now. Okay. The last tip is be reflective and ask questions. This one's hard because sometimes we don't want to be reflective and ask ourselves questions, but you have to be reflective because, you have to look at yourself and be like, I shouldn't have did that. Or, maybe I should have did this. Or maybe I could have went about that a different way. Or maybe my tone was off. It's important to be reflective because you're looking at yourself in the mirror when you are reflective. Right? Also, when you ask yourself questions, you really get to the root of the matter. Like, why did that make me mad? Why am I upset right now? Why do I feel this way? What am I feeling right now? It's important to ask yourself these questions because it can help you get to the root of what you're thinking and how you're feeling to ultimately, learn how to change those thoughts that you're having, right? So I hope this episode blessed you. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great week. And this is another episode of the Mentally Whole Podcast.